Okay, so here is some more practice of 3.1. You can use the color-coded note sheet that you were given, or the one that we did together on Monday, or both of them because they both help. So our objective here, so remember we're in 3.1, is, this is target 1, using arguments or our definitions to establish angle measure. Remember, we're using our vocabulary. We have supplementary, which means they are adding up to 180. Vertical, which means they're congruent. We have alternate interior angles, alternate exterior angles, and corresponding angles. Remember, that's the one, if you take one set and you plop it on the other, it looks exactly the same. So there's our vocab words to help us. Now, let's do the we do together, and then you're going to be asked to do one on your own. So, if angle 2 is 75, I'm going to go ahead and write my 75 in here. If angle 2 is 75, what is 8? So we're going to use one vocab word and try to get there. We might have to use 2, but we're going to see. So I see right away they are not on the same plane. So if they're not on the same plane, I'm looking at 8, we have to automatically get rid of the vertical and supplementary angles. These have to be on the same plane or area. Remember, we talked about the all four together. So we can look at either their corresponding, which mean if I were to plop them on top of each other, alternate interior, alternate exterior. So what helps me is to always use my highlighting to figure out interior or exterior. So I'm just going to highlight my parallel lines. And right away I see 75 is on the outside, and I notice 8 is also on the outside. So just to double check myself, are they opposite each other, the transversal? 8 and 75 are. So that would tell me right away angle 8 equals 75 degrees. And that's because it's alternate exterior angles with angle 2 or 75, whatever you want to call it. All right, so how this works is we're going to pretend that the next question has nothing to do with the first one. So I'm going to erase my work, and I'm going to pretend. Okay, this is a brand new problem. We're starting brand new. So, if angle 3 is 78, so I'm going to go here, and I'm going to put 78 in. That's what I know now. We're starting like none of that other stuff matters. What is 4? So right away, they're on the same plane. When they're on the same plane, I either have the choice of vertical angles or supplementary angles. So if it wants 4, it wants the one right next to it. Remember, the one right next to it forms the straight line. So that's where we take 180 and we subtract the 78. So it's going to be angle 4 would equal, and that's 102, and that's because it's supplementary, and I'm just going to use the abbreviation, 278 degrees, or angle 78. Remember, when they're next to each other, they add up to 180, because that's what a straight line is. Vertical angles are equal. Alternate exterior are equal. Alternate interior are equal. Corresponding are equal, or the fancy word, congruent. All right, let's go to the next one. Again, pretending that this one we just did not exist. Each one's like brand new. And I could put the little plane on every single problem, but it's to save space. So angle 5 is 98. So if I look at angle 5, what is angle 7? So again, if I'm looking at this, it's on the same plane, meaning they're in the same little area. So I only have two choices. It's either vertical angles, this is the same plane, right? Vertical angles or supplementary. I could use either, I could use both probably. So if it wants to know 7, right away across from the 98 is 7. When they're across from each other, that means they're vertical angles. So angle 7 would have to equal 98. They're exact because they're vertical angles. And remember, vertical angles are congruent, or they're equal, they're the same measure. All right, let's look at the next one. Pretending this one didn't exist. All right, so if we looked at angle 2 and it was 101, so angle 2 is 101, and it wants to know what is angle 6. So right away, I'm not on the same plane. I'm hopping to the other one. So I know it's not on the same plane. I can't use vertical and I can't use supplementary. Those ones have to be on the same plane. So I either have corresponding, alternate interior, or alternate exterior. So I like to draw my lines with my highlighter just to see if I have anything here. So I'm looking at, well, one's on the outside up here. One's on the outside of the parallel and one's on the inside, which means right away it can't be alternate interior or exterior. So by default, I only have one choice, but I can also look and see. If I were to take this set and plop this 101 right onto its matching angle 101, if I took all 4 of these, 101 would match up with where number 6 is at if I were to cut those out and put them right on there. So I know that means they're corresponding. If I can take one set, plop it right onto the other set. So angle 6 equals 101 also because angle 2 and angle 6 are corresponding. And we know corresponding means they are equal, or the fancy word, congruent. All right, last one, and then you're going to try one on your own. We have angle 4 is 70. So I'm going to put that 70 in there. What is angle 7? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to highlight my parallel lines so I can first look at to see if there's anything there. Right away when I look at it, I know I can't have vertical or supplementary. I cannot have those. I'm going to erase where I put those little dots. But I can't have those because they're on the same plane. This is asking for 2 different things. So 70 is right here, and then angle 7 is right here. So this one, if I look at it, are they corresponding? If I were to take these and plop them on there, they're not corresponding. One's on the inside, so 70 is actually on the inside of the parallel lines, and 7's on the outside. So this is going to be a 2-step explanation. I have to get there by using other definitions. So the first way to start, if you're going from one plane to another, start with corresponding. So we know that angle 70 and angle what are corresponding. So if I were to plop 70 right on top of the other one, angle 70 and angle 8. So angle 70, they're corresponding. They're equal. From there, I'm going to fill in. I know that this one's 70. Now, can you tell me what would be angle 7? There's a couple ways to get there. Now that I'm on the same plane, can actually use either vertical angles or supplementary. When they form this straight line, 70, and then we don't know what this 7 is, we actually just use the 180 minus 70, and that tells me what angle 7 is, because 70 and angle 7 are supplementary. So angle 7 actually equals 180 minus 70 is 110. And that was because we figured out that angle 8 is 70 and it's supplementary to angle 7, which was the one we were trying to find out. So this is the hardest problem y'all have to do, is when it's a two-step problem, but I know you can do it. So I want you to take your paper now, flip it over, and remember each individual problem is its own problem. So when you do one, erase the stuff and then start new. So I want you to try the other one all on your own. Okay, so we're going to check yours. We're just doing the top part for today. This is the you do. So I got that angle 5 is actually an alternate interior angle to 2. So if you looked at 5 and 2, they're alternate interior, so you should know that they're the same. So then the next one, again, pretending it's something brand new, angle 3 and 5. 3 and 5. Oh, I'm sorry, 3 and 1. 3 and 1 are actually vertical angles. They're across from each other. So again, those are equal. Check your answers. And then if angle 5 and 7 are actually supplementary, which means you take the 180 minus the 188. And then we have the next one, angle 1 and 7. Those were actually going to be on different planes. So this that we just did. Trying to figure out how to pause this.